Jill and Stacy Show.
All right, certificate of need, repeal. Tell us about it, Stacy.
So the certificate of need is what allows for healthcare monopolies, government-sanctioned healthcare monopolies. You need a better example. It's called St. East. So the government basically is allowing them to be a monopoly. So we have a legislator locally who's been fighting for repealing the certificate of need laws to allow access into Kentucky for other healthcare providers, providing competition, which lowers prices, and you get better quality care because there's a competitive market. Apparently, Kentucky's healthcare costs, especially to have babies, is really expensive compared to other surrounding states who've repealed certificate of need laws. So there was a task force formed to investigate the certificate of need laws and if Kentucky should repeal them. These legislators had lobbyists and attorneys for the hospital associations testify. And after, I believe it was 7 months of task force meetings, they came to the conclusion that, well, they needed more task force meetings. Then our local legislator, Marion Proctor, submitted a bill saying that basically incoming competition, incoming healthcare providers cannot be sued by the dominant healthcare provider when they've obtained their certificate of need, because it goes through boards, it goes through the government, all this stuff. Well, it was voted down. Why? Kenton County, you've got Kim Mosier over there. So if we want to pull up who donates to Kim Mosier, it's disgusting, not to mention her husband's a physician for St. Elizabeth. This woman is bought and paid for, and you guys let her win her seat back by 84 votes. You had someone willing.
How is that not a conflict of interest? If your husband works for the healthcare system and you are being funded by all these healthcare organizations, how is that not a conflict of interest?
Because that's Guberment for you. It absolutely is a conflict of interest. That's probably how she got her committee chair seat.
Right.
It's disgusting. Oh, so I pulled up Kim Mosier's donor list. We've got United Healthcare Group, PAC, Kentucky Physicians, PAC, Kentucky Association of Healthcare Facilities, PAC, Merck Employees Political Action Committee, Pfizer, Humana, Johnson & Johnson, Anthem, WellCare Health Plans, Kentucky Association of Chiropractors, Kentucky Psychiatric Medical Association, PAC, McKesson Employees, Kentucky Dental, PAC, Kentucky Association of Healthcare Facilities, PAC, Epic Farm, PHARM, PAC of Kentucky, Aetna, Inc., PAC, Eli Lilly and Company, PAC, Kentucky Pharmacists, PAC. I mean, it's all healthcare stuff. Mm-hmm. So you wonder why she's the committee chair. Wonder how that happens.
Right.
So if you can just buy a legislator, she's for sale. So she's not going to be making any decisions in your best interest. She's going to be doing it in the best interest of her donors. That's just some of them. That's not all of them, but just to give you an idea. Kenton County had the opportunity to hand that seat over to a godly woman who was running for all the right reasons, and y'all didn't show up. Kenton County, you didn't show up. 84 votes, Mosier won by. Andrew Cooperrider went through the list of the legislators who didn't vote for it. And I will tell you, all of them get money from the Hospital Association and other hospital money PACs. And so they're not going to vote against it because they're disgusting humans.
Well, after our 7 months of all that robust discussion, the conclusion was to have another task force, which was supposed to have been in this interim. But as we know, that didn't come to fruition. So here we are.
Yeah, actually interesting. I want to play, I played this on the show a little bit ago, but here's a hearing from House Bill 204 this last year. You had been called forward to talk about certificate of need bill. And at the end of that, we heard a whole lot of feedback from the people voting no, that they would not be passing forward a certificate of need reform. Real quick, I want the listeners to hear just a little 1 minute, 30-second montage.
It's premature to pass this legislation until further study recommended by the task force is being completed.
Do I think certificate of need needs to be repealed? Absolutely. I think there were some major problems with it. and I'll be the first one to stand there and help you with it, and I'll even volunteer for the task force. But in this situation, I just don't think that this is the time. We need to see what the task force comes up with, and
I think it's a little premature. The task force came back with a recommendation to study it some more.
Hope that we will continue working through the task force to find solutions and changes we can make to the certificate of need. I hope that we will continue these conversations. I hope the task force continues.
Where we can really have deep study, come back with the recommendations.
We have reservations about piecemealing this in legislation that hasn't really been fully vetted by the task force yet.
So that was a montage of everybody who voted no saying that they wanted to hear from a task force more on certificate of need. Now, Senator Donald Douglas did propose to a joint resolution to reform that task force. That went nowhere this last session. Instead, they seem to have rolled it into the hearing on licensing and occupation. Can you explain why they decided to go ahead and do that?
I would love to, but I had no communication with leadership why that didn't come to be. I heard with everybody else in LNO this last week, Senator Schickles reasoning on why that didn't happen. He said that he had spoken with leadership and they felt like they were trying to reduce the number of task force that held in the summer. We have these interim hearings all summer that we go down there, and leadership felt that was best where to have these meetings. But as of this date, Senator Schickle has been the only one that has asked for me to come in and testify about CON.
And everybody needs to clean their own house. So wherever you're living, if someone's not running against these people, you need to step up and do it yourself, because there's no fixing what's going on in Kentucky until we get people in place who are willing to take a stand and have a backbone and have a conscience. And then when those people do step up, we need to support them, because nothing's going to change and you're going to continue to complain about the same stuff every day in and out. And if 2020 didn't show you that we need to change what we're doing, I don't know what's going to wake you guys up. So we clean up Boone County, right, Jill?
Yep.
We work to help to clean up Boone County. Boone County did their part. Where you at, Kenton? Where you at, Campbell? Everybody's got to clean up their own backyard.
Exactly. And the call to action here is volunteer, knock doors for candidates, get to know them, educate your community, your friends and family. Contact your legislators. Do research before you vote, because if you're voting for Kim Mosier, well, shame on you, because she is pretty much bought and paid for by these hospitals and these organizations that are not advocating for you and your family. And I know that people are they're disenfranchised, maybe because they don't think their vote really counts, or if the elections are rigged. I don't know. Why are they disenfranchised, Stacey?
I honestly don't know. When I talk to people and ask, why they haven't been getting involved, because if you're more than willing to complain and you see what the problems are, I'm not sure why you don't want to be part of the solution. But you also have to be a registered Republican to vote in the primary. And I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't align with that. That's fine. You don't have to. But if you mostly do, and if you want to take back the government because God calls us to do that, then you're going to have to be a registered Republican to vote in the primaries, because that's how our state operates. We have closed primaries. So in a closed primary, if you're a registered Republican, only Republicans get to vote in the Republican primary. And because there's so many registered Republicans, those end up being not just your candidates in the general election, but those end up being your legislators. Democrats aren't going to win. I don't even know why they run. Even if you're not 100% aligned with the Republican Party, that's where it's at. That's where you got to go. You got to register. So I don't know what to tell people other than they have to get involved. And if you come to me and you want some help with something, or one of our organizations to help you with something, that's my first question. What are you willing to do? You can't expect everybody else to do the work and you're not participating. Everybody's got to be involved and participating.
Everybody worries about national issues. The only way we're going to change here is if we do it locally. And if we set the tone, set the precedence here, then maybe people will follow our lead. Like, for instance, Boone County is the most active Republican Party in the state of Kentucky. And a lot of other counties have followed suit on even like censuring certain individuals like Mitch McConnell, Michael Adams.
It's a way to have accountability. If you're involved, you can help to hold people accountable.
Right. And you can educate everybody during the process.
But it's all local. And if you're not aware, your constitution basically says that your judge executive, your coroner, and your sheriff are who runs your county. They could keep out the federal government and the state government out of your county, according to the Constitution. So those are very important positions. The federal government does implement an income tax, which is outrageous, but the rest of your taxes are all paid locally. Those are your school board, that is your state, that is your county. And if you can work on those three things, well, I think you're winning. You know, once we align our state, once we've aligned our counties, then we can deal with the bigger issues in the federal government. But if we don't even have the stuff locally aligned, there's still nothing we can do about any of it. I've talked to local businesses and the stuff the government's coming after them for, because they are very aware the government wants to get rid of small local businesses and hand everything over to the corporations. And if you don't see that by now, something's wrong with your brain. It's broke. You need to call your legislator. That is where this can be fixed, is through legislation. These are actual contracts for the land that you're living on. So why you don't want to have a vested interest in that is beyond me. I do not understand.
Use your brain and do your research.